this is a beautiful piece of cinematography. Your character, Thurgood Marshall, one of the greatest leaders of our time. He's gagged.
Mm-hmm.
Can't talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you feel gagged as a black man living in these United States in 2017? Do you feel the need that there are sometimes you can't get your voice heard, or as a collective we're not getting our voice heard?
No, I don't feel like I'm gagged, even though we are on a Sunday where the president has actually said that black players should not voice their opinions through action. That is a gagging.
Yeah.
He was actually calling for a gag. But what I will say is that the owners and the players who have, chosen a different course have shown that we are not gagged. The fact that your publication, that your outlet exists, it shows that we're not gagged, and the fact that this movie exists shows that we're not gagged. So there may be people that want us to be gagged, but that is not the case.
We're not having it.
No.
Not in 2017.
No.
So this case about Mr. Joseph Spell, was this a case that you had been familiar with?
I was not aware of the case, and I think that was an important factor. The fact that I didn't know it, I felt like other people would not know it, and that leaves room for it to be an interesting movie for people to come see. And it leaves room for it to be a whodunit, to be a courtroom drama, because if you already knew. If it was Brown versus the Board of Education, we all know the outcome. We lived the outcome of that story, but I did not know, and that was a great thing for this movie.
What do you want young viewers to walk away with?
This film, I think, especially in this particular time, like we didn't plan this, but it gives people a sense of hope. The movie takes place on the precipice of war, of the U.S. entering the war, World War II, which is a war that was fought. Part of the ideology was white supremacy. And so that's the backdrop of this movie, is white supremacy abroad. But at the same time, there's white supremacy at home that's being practiced in the North and the South. And that's what this movie is about. Eleanor Strube being played by Kate Hudson, when she gets into a pinch and gets into a corner, she pulls out the card that's going to get her out of the situation, and that's white privilege. And so this movie should a black man be railroaded because he's imperfect, even though he's not guilty? And Thurgood Marshall comes into town and says, no, he should not, and that to me is like, it's sort of it highlights his work, because, you can legislate the 13th Amendment, you can legislate amendments and rights, but somebody has to actually make sure that those things get turned into actual freedom, actual law. And I think that's the work that he did. He went around saying, well, this black woman should be able to go to the University of Oklahoma and practice law. So I'm going to take this specific moment in history and make sure that she gets to do that. And that's what this thing, should a black man, are black people free? Are they equal? Well, they have the right to be mediocre. They have the right to be imperfect and still not be guilty. Whereas the larger society would say, he's imperfect, he's guilty. Right. This is a case about a black man who is imperfect being found guilty or not guilty.
You lied in a sworn statement. Why would you do that?
Why'd I lie? Because the truth gets me killed.
You can't deny me now. Tunnel vision.
If you want freedom,
on a mission.
You're gonna have to fight for it.
Stop me now.
The only way to get through a bigot's door was to break it down.